Hey guys, do you know what the first ever animation book was? According to the internet, it was supposedly Preston Blair's cartoon animation, or at least the older versions of it. Well, apparently the internet was wrong. There was actually another book, published in 1920, created 8 years before Mickey Mouse. It's so old that it's technically public domain. The book I speak of is called Animated Cartoons, by Edwin George Lutz, or E.G. Lutz for short. People say it's rare, but I managed to find a copy of it online as a PDF. Considering the book was created during the Jurassic era of animation, or Draw-astic era, as Tony White would call it, before storyboards became mainstream for cartoons and animation. How much of this book holds up today? Well, for the book's long-belated 100th anniversary, we're about to find out. Apparently, this book was the book that Walt Disney used as a guide when he was first starting out in his animation career at the age of 19. I know I said that a book appearing in Once Upon a Studio meant it had to have been endorsed by Disney. And apparently, there were other books that were shown in the Disney Archives documentary on Disney+. But this has got to be the ultimate endorsement by Disney. In fact, this has got to be the highest endorsement a book can get from Disney. It's surprising that the book didn't get to make a physical appearance in the Once Upon a Studio short on the Disney Animation Studio bookshelf. But considering that it was mentioned in Paper Dreams, perhaps it was there in spirit. Okay, so after taking some time to read through the whole book, I can honestly say that it has some information that wasn't even in the Animator Survival Kit, the Bible of animation books. And it shows what animation technology was like before the days of the multiplane camera, the animation disc, synchronized sound, storyboards, and many other animation luxuries that Disney discovered in making their own cartoons. But first, let me point out that this book has more text in it than pictures, which can make it less ideal for beginners. However, the information it does have on animation makes up for it. Firstly, after you get through the chapters talking about the history of the then new art form of animation, and the technology that it had at the time, you get into a chapter that goes over walk cycles. But it doesn't just show you the basic profile walk cycle that you'd see in most animation books. It shows you a perspective walk cycle, and a walk cycle from an above view, or a bird's eye view, or a sky view, if you will. But the chapter that comes after it, the chapter on animal locomotion, shows us things that were never brought up in the Animator Survival Kit, the book, the app, or the master classes. It shows walk cycles for horses, cows, lions, dogs, a flight cycle for birds, walk cycles for ducks and elephants. It even shows how a snake moves in a wave pattern. In the same chapter, it shows that multiples, a technique where there'd be multiples of a limb for an in-between to simulate speed, was the very first smearing technique ever developed, long before other versions of the smear technique were developed by Warner Brothers. The rest of the book talks about camera technicalities, gives some insight on things that would eventually be known as storyboards and model sheets, and talks about the future of animation at the time. Edwin was born on August 26, 1868, and unfortunately passed away on March 30th, 1951. Whether or not he got to see what his book started for the animation industry, particularly how it guided Walt Disney into creating one of the highest rated animation studios of all time, remains a mystery. But the importance his existence had on Walt is undeniable. In fact, in the world of animation, there should be a day dedicated to him for giving us a book that gave Walt Disney the knowledge he needed to create great animation at the time. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.